Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Near Protocol. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have our higher time frame video up above, so check that out if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Before we jump into the lower time frame analysis, we're going to go over the two main counts that we are following here. So within the bearish scenario, what we are saying is that we are looking for that potential of continuation down, where we're looking at this potentially as a B wave and then looking for the C wave to the downside. Now the target area we're looking for is this $1.16 to this 90-cent area. Now if we're looking at this idea here, what we're looking for is effectively a 5-wave move to the downside. Now the problem that we have within this count is if we're looking at this as 1, 2 and then looking for this as the third wave, we haven't crossed this 1618. It is still technically possible, however, that this third wave could be in place over here, and what we could be doing is actually forming this fourth wave to the upside. For as long as we stay below this $1.66, we do have the potential that we could still see price look to continue to the downside here. Now if we went off of our current high here and using this current low here, effectively that target would be this $1.64 to this 93 cents area. Now if we do, however, look to push down one more time here, and this third wave is actually still in play, and we will see this after this 1618. The problem I have with that idea is that we don't have good structure in that count. So ideally I would like to see this third wave either be in play here, or it's more likely that we could see something more like a diagonal looking to play out here. So we'll have to keep an eye on this idea. Now, if we are looking at this as a potential 5-wave move to the downside, this could actually be our high here. And for as long as we hold this $1.57, we could actually start to see price break down in 5 waves. So within that bearish case, what we are looking out for is the potential that more locally here, what we could have is that this is actually a 1 and we're looking for this as a wave 2. Now, technically speaking, this has come up to the 0.382. So this is enough within this move here that this could actually be completed. Now, if we do, however, look to hold this low, potentially what we could see is an additional push to the upside, looking to make a bit more of a complex wave 2 here, where we could see price then look to push back up towards this 143 if this is going to hit that 1-to-1 level. Now, if we do see a push back up into this area, we'll be keeping an eye on this 0.382 as coming back into these highs again. Alternatively, back up here into this 50% would be into horizontal potential resistance here. So going to be on the lookout for this. If we fail to actually see this push up in this way, however, we could actually be starting to look to break down from this current point. So if we do see price continuing to fail to break back above these highs here, effectively what we could then start to see is that this becomes 1, 2 here, and then we start to break down in a bigger 5-wave structure. Though at the moment we'd have to take it into this low, and we don't really have a B wave location, but if we came back up into these lows that we've got over here, effectively 124 would be what we're looking for as a 1.618. Now the key thing within this count is for this to actually confirm itself, what we need to see is a move down towards this $1.03. So it's possible we're setting this up where we could even set a series of an additional 1s and 2s here and then start to see this play out looking for this lower target. But if we do move up past this 160, this would invalidate this count. Now, within the other count that we have here, what we are also saying is that potentially we could be looking for a move to the upside. So within this other idea here, what we're saying is that we have a bigger flat correction from further back here. So we're looking for this possibility of a C wave to the upside. Now, the most common area for this would be this 390 to this $2.84. And what we'd want to see here is this to actually develop in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If we do see a move up in 5 waves, I will also be keeping an eye on this $2.33, as this will be our 1-to-1. And if this is going to be a running flat, what we could then see is this look to target out these highs here towards this 1-to-1 before seeing that continuation to the downside once again. So going to be on the lookout for this possibility of this impulse up here, but this is only going to be valid for as long as we hold this low. If we lose this, then it becomes more likely, we're going to be looking for that 5th wave target that we discussed previously. So let's get into the lower degree counts here for this idea. Now within this idea here, there's a couple of ways that we can be looking at this move to the upside. So if we come in here and we look at the simple count, what we were talking about in the previous video was that we have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up into this high. And what we were looking for was this is potentially a B wave into this point. Now, it is also possible that this could be A, B, and C. And effectively what we then have here is the potential that this is 1, 2, and we're looking for that extension to the upside, either looking for the C wave 1-to-1 here at this $1.84, or alternatively moving up towards this 1618 and actually giving us a trending move to the upside. Now, the reason that I'm not liking this currently is because if we look at this in this way, this has dragged out quite long here, and we don't really have any evidence that there is going to be a break to the upside here. Now, it is also possible that we could be within this yellow B wave still. So if we are within this yellow B wave, what we could have here, rather than looking at this as completed into this low, is that this could be A, this could be B, and then actually what we're looking for is a C wave. Now, if we're looking for a C wave, what we'd be looking for here is potentially coming back into this zone here of this $1.30 to this $1.23. Now, if we are looking at it in this way, we'd have to say that this was potentially forming as a diagonal, where this would become 1, 2. We'd be looking for this as A, B, and then looking for another 3-wave move down. Given our current structure here, 1 to 1 would be here towards this $1.27. So if we do see price come back down here in 3 waves, something like this, then we see another 3-wave move up, and then we see another 3-wave move down. This would effectively look to confirm this idea of having this diagonal pattern here, where we could actually look to complete lower down here towards this 123.7 or this 127.2. So that's going to be the idea of looking for continuation up. If we do lose this $1.15, it becomes less likely we're going to see this, particularly in the idea of seeing an extension to the upside. Now, however, if this B wave is over here, what we could see is that this move could be looking for a breakout. Now, there is not a lot of evidence to confirm this yet, and what we'd be saying is that within this count, effectively what we're looking for is this is potentially 1, 2, and we're looking at this as potentially another 1 and a 2. Now, this would only be valid for as long as we actually hold this $1.31. Losing this low will invalidate the count, and we'll have to look at the alternative counts here. Now, if we are looking at this as 1 into this high and looking at this as a wave 2, we've already come down very deep here towards the 854. Now, I don't want to see us lose these lows again. Effectively, if we start to lose these lows, it becomes very likely we're going to invalidate this count here. And what we need to see to actually have this play out is say that this was 1, this was the A, B, and then C as a flat correction here, and effectively looking for this continuation up. Now, the problem is that if we're looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we need to be cautious that any kind of 3-wave move up could align with that continuation to the downside. So we need to be very cautious of that idea that if we do just see 3 waves up here, we could still look to extend out and see that lower target come in. If we do, however, start to see price holding these lows here, what we could start to see then is that this could become 1, 2, we'd get a bigger 3, 4, 5, get another 3-wave move down, and then we'd be looking for that continuation to the upside here. Now, given the current structure that we have, we'd have to wait for a confirmation here by seeing price push up past this 1391, and then we'd have to then see 3 waves down, not looking to cross the wave 1 high. So effectively what we need to see here is that we'd have to see price do this 1, 2, we'd get a bigger 3rd wave, 4th wave, and a 5th wave. Then we need to hold support. As long as we hold support, we can continue to look for that bullish count. If, however, we start to see price looking to break down from that point, we need to be very careful that in between here, there isn't something like this as a flat correction, and then we're going to see that continuation down afterwards. So the key thing here is if we want to look for that bullish continuation, we need to see 5 waves up, 3 waves down, and then see that continuation up, looking for that 1618. And that would have to hit this idea here that if we move up directly, we need to go past this $1.49 for more evidence that we are within something like this. And then once again, you know, even if we do get a 5-wave move to the upside here, we just got to be very careful because it is still possible that somehow within here, we could have this as a corrective move, which is looking to complete in a 5-wave structure where this becomes a bigger A, a B, and a C, and then we still look to push down one more time. So it's going to be very key here that if we're looking for extension within these waves, what we have to do here is effectively move up past this area of this 1618, and our ideal target for this blue count would actually be this 1618, which is sitting here towards the zone of this 187. So we need to see these targets starting to get hit. As long as we hold these lows, there is the potential we could be building something here. It is also possible that this could be 1212 because we actually haven't taken these lows over here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. If this starts to get excited to the upside, then we could potentially be looking for this blue wave count looking to play out, but we need to see this 1618 get hit. And we'd also need to be careful of the idea that here that, you know, even if we do see this as a potential low point over here, that this could just be A, B, and then we get the C wave up here towards this $1.84, and then we still look to break down. So the key thing is we need to move up higher here towards us $2.26 for this additional confirmation that we're having a bit of a breakout here. Now the alternative is that we can argue that within the structure we have this as A, B, and C into this high, in which case what we could then be looking for rather is something like this, where this whole move becomes a W wave. We're looking for a bigger A, B, and a C to the downside, and then we're still looking for that possibility of a Y wave to the upside. Now within this idea of seeing this as a bigger WX and a Y here, what we would be looking for is effectively that this B wave is completed. Now if this B wave is not completed here, what we could still get, like I said previously, is we could see this as an A wave, we could get this as B, and then we see C wave up. So until we actually break above this 153, we need to be cautious of this continuation to the downside, where this could become A, this could become B, and this would be C. Now it is also possible, like I said here, that potentially this B wave is already completed, in which case what we could look then for is a 5-wave move to the downside. Now at the 1-to-1 of this would actually bring us down to $1.16. If we do see price push down past this level, we need to be cautious of the idea of extension. If however we see this actually develop as a 5-wave move here, other targets that we could look to finish would be around this 0.618 area or the 786 to this 854. So going to be keeping an eye on this. If we're looking at this as an X wave, typically speaking, we're going to look to target out this area of this 50% to the 786. So the 786 would be past the minimum requirement here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this zone if we do see price looking to break down. Now, like I said, as long as we hold these lows, that bullish potential is still possible. If we look to break down in another move to the downside here, it's going to be important what levels these hit, because if we start to break down in that more impulsive way, like I said previously, if we start to get this as 1 and we get this as 2 and we start to break down and start to form bigger 5-wave structure that extends, this $1.03 is going to be an important level that we could look for as a more bearish target for this wave count. Having a look at the daily CPR lines here, what we can see is that we are currently above these central lines. If we continue to hold these levels, other targets to the upside for today could be this $1.36. We have the previous daily high also sitting here at this 137 that I'll be keeping an eye on. If we swing fail this could align with that continuation down. If, however, we push through these levels, what we do have is this 138, this 139.99, and this 142 as possible targets to the upside for today. Now, if we do see price actually look to reject off these levels and look to break down, targets to the downside for today would be this 132. We have this 131, 128, and this 127 area as possible downside targets. Now, having a look at the weekly pivots here, what we can see is we've printed a lower weekly pivot, which is an initial bearish sign here. We need to see whether price is going to confirm or reject this bias. Now, if we do look to confirm it, what we'd be expecting is price to find resistance in the central line area, which is between this 137 and this 135. If we do look to continue to find resistance here, we can look for price to break down, looking for this 129 and this 126 as possible downside targets. Another target is this 119 if we fail to actually hold this S1 line. If, however, we do find support above these central lines, then this week we have potential to actually come back and test out this $1.40 area. We have this 146 as a target and this $1.50 as potential targets to the upside. Now, looking at the monthly pivots here, what we can see is that we have printed a overlapping CPR line here, but it is giving us a moderately bullish sentiment here. So we need to see whether price is going to actually confirm this. Now, if we do see price actually look to move back to the upside here, potentially we can find resistance between this 139 and this 144 area. If, however, we start to see price falling away here, then potentially we could see a move down towards this 123 area, which would be looking for that S1 line. Other targets for this month to the downside would be this 109, this 91 cents as possible downside. If, however, we look to start flipping these back into support, what we could then see is price could actually be gravitated towards this 155, this 174, and this 187 as possible upside targets for this month. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.